CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Najahe Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories.
I'm pleased to be able to report that thanks to the extraordinary work of law enforcement officials from here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, our local leaders here in Chester County, and from our federal partners all across this nation, our suspect was captured.
Now at 4, the manhunt for an escaped prisoner in Pennsylvania is over. Authorities finally located Danelo Cavalcante. He was in a rural part of Chester County. This is nearly 2 weeks after he went on the run. CBS News Miami's Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
State police in Pennsylvania finally nabbed escaped inmate Danelo Cavalcante, seen here in handcuffs and a damp Eagles sweatshirt as officers led him to a waiting SWAT vehicle Wednesday morning.
Our nightmare is finally over and the good guys won.
The break came around midnight when a burglar alarm went off within the police perimeter in Chester County. Officers didn't find Cavalcante, but began to zero in on an area where aircraft picked up a heat source. Around 8 a.m., tactical teams made their move.
They were able to move in very quietly. They had the element of surprise. Cavalcante did not realize he was surrounded until that had occurred.
But he didn't surrender.
He began to crawl through thick underbrush, taking his rifle with him as he went.
A dog finally subdued the suspect.
Thank God there were no injuries to law enforcement or to the public.
Cavalcante broke out of the Chester County prison 2 weeks ago, crab walking up the walls. His time on the lam included stealing and ditching a van, stealing a .22 caliber rifle from a garage, and putting the entire area on alert.
It's been definitely a fear factor because I have a 4-year-old little boy. Authorities
say Cavalcante will be returned to full justice, serving a life sentence for the murder of his ex-girlfriend in front of her 2 children. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
Authorities had offered a $25,000 reward for information leading to his capture. Miami-Dade police are looking for a suspect involved in a hit-and-run crash. New surveillance video shows the crash. It happened just before 2 in the morning on July 15th. This is at Northwest 103rd Street and 35th Avenue. 18-year-old Guyano Constant was on his scooter. He was on his way home from work from an Amazon warehouse, and that's when a Toyota Corolla struck him and took off. Now the police department is issuing this warning.
But one incident like this is just one too many, and it does concern me, and it concerns us all, as not only as a department, but as a community. If you are involved in a traffic crash and you remain on the scene, this basically amounts to something civil in nature. The fact that this individual chose to flee from the scene, especially where one has been critically injured, now there are charges that are pending.
Police are also asking for the public's help. They hope to hear from a body shop that may have worked on the suspect's car. If you have any information, call Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers. The number is 305-471-TIPS.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look outside, what a beautiful South Florida day, but it feels hot out there. We are tracking heat, but could there be a cool down on the way? Next Weather Chief Meteorologist and Hurricane Specialist Ivan Cabrera joins us with the forecast.
Yeah, we're going to hope for a cool down in October, I think, at this point here. Yeah, it's just going to be more clouds and temperatures come down a couple degrees, but you're not going to feel the difference. It's going to be hot. Starting in the tropics, so we got a lot of activity, and obviously we would this time of year. Peak of hurricane season just passed a couple of days ago. We'll talk about Lee in a second. Margot, still a hurricane, but still pushing north into the Atlantic, not going to bother anyone. And then this big red, what looks like a cone, it's not, it's just the area where this system continues to organize, could develop into our next tropical depression. You've been noticing the numbers 70, 80, 90. This will become Tropical Storm Nigel. We got plenty of time to watch Nigel, but this is Lee, the hurricane we've been tracking for over a week now, finally beginning to make that nice north turn up towards the New England coastline. Not good for them. Obviously, it has been good for us for the last week as we've been tracking the system. Now, down to a Category 2, the wind speed's really not all that important because by the time this gets up to land masses here, it will be kind of a hybrid storm. The wind field will expand, so a lot more people will feel its effects. It's just the winds are not going to expand, 75 miles an hour. We're talking more like gales across this area where we have gale watches. In fact, for coastal communities here. So this would be impacting Maine, parts of Massachusetts as well, but the models have trended a little further east, so mainly across the Gulf of Maine and then heading into the Bay Bundy here. We continue to see that as the waves begin to propagate up, and also the rain bands along with it, although right now the heaviest of the rain looks to be for down East Maine and points to the east. For us, 91 degrees is the current temperature. Feels like 102. We did it today again. Yesterday we tied the record. We beat it today by 1 degree. 94 was the high temperature at the airport coming in from the National Weather Service. Currently still feels like 102, so a steamer out there. As far as rain chances, very anemic here with this northerly flow. Rain tracker picking up on potentially some activity, but that remains to be seen because there's nothing there yet. But we'll watch that, and as we head into the next few days, that's when really things begin to get interesting for us as the rain chances come up. It will be hot again tomorrow. And then on Friday and through the weekend, we're going to have this frontal boundary that's going to stall over central Florida, and that's going to put us in the warm and stormy sector. So rain chances are going to be going up. Tomorrow, coverage up to 50%. We'll leave it at 60, in fact, heading into Friday and through the upcoming weekend. And you see not much of a cool down there, but we'll take a couple of degrees shaved off. But we'll replace it with high rain chance that will continue as well into early next week.
All right, Ivan, thank you. A list of the biggest names in technology and social media descended on Capitol Hill. It's for the first ever Artificial Intelligence Forum. CBS News Miami's Skylar Henry joins us live from Washington, D.C. And Skylar, big tech CEOs like Elon Musk, Mark Zukerberg, and former CEO of Microsoft Bill Gates were seen heading to the Capitol. What important topics did they discuss with senators?
Hey, Naja, good to see you. I think the biggest topic was trying to figure out exactly what sort of legislative guardrails could possibly be in place to not only cultivate artificial intelligence and its growth in a safe way, but also making sure that it does not become harmful in any sort of way. We've seen AI really impact all sorts of industries, whether it's business, tech, or in this case, politics. And I think lawmakers are just trying to make sure that something can be done in a certain amount of time so that as this technology grows, there's somewhat of a legislative sort of barrier to sort of be there to sort of grow alongside with it as the technology sort of advances. I think one of the big concerns, especially when you take a look into what may be happening in 2024 in terms of the election, is a lot of misinformation, disinformation, things like that that could be cultivated and developed through artificial intelligence and technology. And so I think many of these lawmakers are just hoping that they could perhaps put something in place so that it does not fall into the wrong hands. It's going to be a difficult challenge moving forward. Remember, as with everything else on Capitol Hill, it still very much is a very evenly divided Congress. And so I think there's going to take some necessary buy-in from both sides of the aisle in terms of participation, in terms of what they would like to see. But a lot of the tech CEOs and a lot of the leaders that we heard from today are certainly optimistic about the fact that there is this conversation happening in the first place.
Yeah, for anything to happen, they're going to have to reach a middle ground. What did the tech CEOs say about the benefits and risks of AI?
Well, we heard from Elon Musk himself, who said that there is a need for a referee as this technology continues to grow, citing the quick, fast-paced evolution of the tech altogether. And I think that was something that was interesting to hear, right? When you think about all of these tech titans and you know, not wanting to necessarily deal with a lot of the guardrails in this example that you might see when it comes to politics, to hear that there was that buy-in, to hear from Zuckerberg, for example, in the same instance, I think that part was interesting in and of itself. But one thing is certainly clear, both lawmakers, even critics, and of course these tech titans all say that there needs to be some protections in place as AI continues to evolve.
Yeah, they are saying it, and we should all be listening and planning ahead. Skylar, thank you for that report. Are you ready to ride? Brightline announced when it will launch its newest route to Orlando, and the details when we come back. Well, welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Taylor Swift dominated again at this year's MTV Video Music Awards. This was her second consecutive Video of the Year win. The singer-songwriter was on hand to accept her trophy for her anti-hero music video. The singer won at least 3 more awards. Ice Spice took the award for Best New Artist, and Shakira received the Video Vanguard Lifetime Achievement. MTV is a division of our parent company, Paramount. Here's a feel-good story about finding your family. A dog named Scout turned his days of being a stray into a permanent, loving home. Take a look.
Scout's become a bit of a canine caretaker.
He goes onto these floors, and as soon as people see him, they want to pet him.
He's made this nursing home in Michigan his home after escaping from a nearby animal shelter not once, but 3 times, landing back on this same couch each time.
We still don't know what that reason was to this day, but there had to be a reason because he showed up 3 times in the same week.
And that's when the staff at Meadowbrook decided, well, he should just stay. Scout. Over the years, he's become a part of the family, filling lives with a little love, becoming a bright spot for anyone who's having a rough day.
If you're laying there and things are not going right, he'll get up on the bed and lay down. When you get up, well, then he'll get up and like he's done his work and he goes on.
To have somebody to talk to that will just sit there and listen and likes to be petted, it brings joy to both the staff and the residents.
Scout's heartwarming tale has people around the world sending in donations, and his celebrity status online is now helping the shelter he ran from all those years ago.
And Scout is also participating in an upcoming walk to end Alzheimer's. The power of CBS News and the CBS News Miami stream are always at your fingertips. We're on Pluto TV, and the best part, it's all free. You can also find us on your favorite streaming device with the CBS News app. Then click CBS News Miami. That's your Quickcast. I'm Najahe Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami.